Don't ever laugh as a hearse goes by, for you may be the next to die. They wrap you up in bloody sheets to drop you 6 feet underneath. They put you in a pine wood box and cover you up with dirt and rocks. It all goes well for about a week, and then your coffin begins to leak, and the worms crawl in, the worms crawl out, the worms play pinochle on your snout. They eat your eyes, they eat your nose as you begin to decompose. A slimy beetle with demon's eyes chews through your stomach and out your sides. Your stomach turns to rancid grease, and pus pours out like melted cheese. You spread it on a slice of bread, and that's what you'll eat when you're dead. And the worms crawl out, the worms crawl in, the worms that crawl in are lean and thin. The ones that crawl out are fat and stout. Your eyes fall in and your hair falls out. Your brain turns into maggot pie. Your liver starts to liquefy. And for the living all is well as you sink further into hell. And the flames rise up to drag you down into the fire where you will drown. Your skin melts off as you descend, and Satan tears you limb from limb. Your suffering will never end. And the worms crawl in, the worms crawl out. They'll eat your guts and then shit them out. And when your bones begin to rot, the worms remain, but you do not. So don't ever laugh as a hearse goes by, for someday you'll be the one to die. And when death brings his cold despair, ask yourself, will anyone care? Don't ever laugh as a hearse goes by, for you may be the next to die. They wrap you up in bloody sheets to drop you 6 feet underneath. They put you in a pine wood box and cover you up with dirt and rocks. It all goes well for about a week, and then your coffin begins to leak, and the worms crawl in, the worms crawl out, the worms play pinochle on your snout. They eat your eyes, they eat your nose as you begin to decompose. A slimy beetle with demon's eyes chews through your stomach and out your sides. Your stomach turns to rancid grease, and pus pours out like melted cheese. You spread it on a slice of bread, and that's what you'll eat when you're dead. And the worms crawl out, the worms crawl in, the worms that crawl in are lean and thin. The ones that crawl out are fat and stout. Your eyes fall in and your hair falls out. Your brain turns into maggot pie. Your liver starts to liquefy. And for the living all is well as you sink further into hell. And the flames rise up to drag you down into the fire where you will drown. Your skin melts off as you descend, and Satan tears you limb from limb. Your suffering will never end. And the worms crawl in, the worms crawl out. They'll eat your guts and then shit them out. And when your bones begin to rot, the worms
All right, what's going on, everybody? How you guys doing tonight? Just finishing up a couple of things before we get started for the night, and finally watch Child's Play 2019. Let me see, who do we got all in here tonight? Got Ty, Devin, Paris, Kat, Nicholas, Ranger. What's going on, all you guys? How you guys doing tonight? Yeah, sorry about last night. It was supposed to be on, but things at work ran a bit later than I was intending for it to go, and I was dead fucking tired by the time I got out. I'd have fell asleep on stream. Your stomach turns to rancid grease and pus pours out like melted cheese. You spread it on a slice of bread, and that's what you'll eat. Do we really have to watch this abomination of a movie? Unfortunately, the completionist in me says yes. Unfortunately. Into maggot pie, your liver starts to liquefy, and for the living all is well as you. Oh, Chuck, what's going on, Chuck? Just giving a couple of seconds for everybody to jump in here before we just dive right into it. Oh, nice time. It's the completionist in me, Devin. I can't help it. Like, if I start something, I gotta complete it. Hey, what's going on, Paris? What's up? How you doing? Let me dive over to the commentary channel. Then I'm thinking tomorrow for the Dead by Daylight gameplay stream. Might just do all Ash since it's Evil Dead edition of the cosplay share. I'm doing better than I was yesterday. Yesterday I was just exhausted. I know, Paris, that's why I'm considering it. Shit. Because it's going to bug me if I don't do it, too. But it's like, there's so much to do that if I do it, it's going to keep me on Evil Dead for a super long time, which is fine. But at the same time, if I don't do it, it's just going to eat at me like... I need to watch Ash vs. Evil Dead again. You spread it on a slice of bread, and that's what you'll eat when you're dead. And the worms crawl out, the worms crawl in, the worms that crawl in are lean and thin, the ones that crawl out are fat and stout. Your eyes fall in and your hair falls out. Your brain turns into maggot pie. Your liver starts to liquefy, and for the living all is well as you sink further. Hey, what's going on, Anthony? And the flames rise up to drag you down into the fire where you will drown. Your skin melts off as you descend, and Satan tears. All right, let's end the music there. And let's just dive into this head first. It's like just rip off the Band-Aid. Let's just do it. So let me hit that.
And not even going to get into my usual spiel of, how to do the countdown and all that. Because I'm assuming at this point everybody knows how to do it. So I'm just going to give the countdown and then we will dive right into the movie. Like I said, just ripping off the Band-Aid. Be done with it. I mean, granted, it's from when I watched it the first time, it's a bad Chucky movie, but not a bad movie in general. It's genuinely entertaining. It has a small soldiers-esque idea, which I knew that going in. But ultimately, I thought that it was decent enough. It just shouldn't have been a Chucky movie. I live. What's going on, Jonathan? Oh, man. But all right. Let's get into it. And we begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Play. I mean, from what I remember, Mark Hamill was decent enough with what he was given. And understanding this particular Chucky's evolution as a character, it kind of makes sense. Because it's essentially taking, like, Chucky in this one could have been a good guy, like, no pun intended. I just wish the design would have been better. Essentially, he's Alexa with legs. It's essentially what he is. He is like an Alexa with legs. Like a multi-purpose kind. I wouldn't even call him a toy. It's like, that'd be some serious fucking equipment, even now. And the funny thing is, they could have literally had this going side by side with the current series. Because, I mean, there's, outside of the character names, there's nothing really to hold it back from being in the same world. Could have just been another killer doll in that world, and with the Chucky, they had a very rare opportunity where they could have used the Chucky legend to actually sort of further the reason why the adults don't believe the kid. Because, oh, it's another kid saying Chucky did it. Oh, exactly. With a remake, it should be an updated or alternate take on the same story. But you still keep the core elements the same. Where if you break down the original Child's Play at its bare bones, it's a psychotic serial killer possessing a doll. However you get to that point and what you do after that, with the rules set in place, like how he has to sort of get his soul out of the doll at a certain time frame, you take all those little details, but you turn it into your own origin story for Chucky. That's what it should have did. Here, it took a killer doll aspect that is clearly inspired by I would probably say a mixture of Puppet Master and Small Soldiers, and went with it. Studio probably looked at the script and like, I'm not gonna make my money back on this, so we need to look to see if we have a license that we could put on it in order to make the money back. And they found out they had a partial license to Child's Play, threw it on there, and fucking went on. Yeah, there are some really off-putting special effects with Chucky on there, especially if I remember right, the end when he's like diving. Oh yeah, I remember all that, Paris. Like I remember him saying like they even wanted to put his name on there as a producer and he absolutely refused. Which I can completely understand, especially when you're in the process of getting your TV show going and you still have movies planned. Which is why I get that Orion had the license to actually fucking do this movie, but I thought that they should have worked with Don Mancini on maybe a different version of a killer doll. Like they could have did this with the whole AI thing and had it set in the Child's Play world and just called it like fucking Child's Play Buddy or something like that. Like it's set in the same world, it can still tell the same story, change the names of the characters to be its own original thing, and just go from there. So that way, even at some point, we could get Buddy and Chucky actually meeting with each other. And imagine if Chucky ever was able to possess a Buddy doll. Or if Chucky started harvesting Buddy dolls for parts to upgrade his own body. Oh. Thank you for the like, Eric Rudd. I greatly appreciate it. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that, Paris. Show me on the Chucky doll where he touched you. See, because that would have been my thing with this. If you connected this to that, like I said, once Chucky starts acting up or the Buddy doll starts acting up, because you wouldn't name it Chucky, or you could name it Chucky. It could have just been like it heard something in a passing conversation of the Chucky story and named itself Chucky, and it gave it a layer of the adults not believing the kids. So there's like certain tweaks here and there that you they could have did that would have probably appeased fans of this even more so, and fans of the original series. Plus, if I remember right, aren't they doing a sequel to this one now too? I thought I remembered hearing that. Worst thing about this movie is Chucky doesn't have a fleshy hole. Actually, come to think of it, yeah. It's rumored but not confirmed to get a part two. Okay. Like I thought I heard something about a part two possibly coming because I felt like it was fairly financially successful. But I don't know if that was just because of all the stuff that pretty much they kept coming out with, like Mark Hamill being casted as Chucky and Aubrey Plaza being put in it and so forth like that. And the general interest that reboots get just from having the license. So I'm not sure how part two would actually fare, knowing that what we got. Like, wait a second. Most of Superman's villains are bald. He must hate bald people. Or maybe bald people hate him. You never know. I don't know. It's just kind of off-putting that, yeah, Aubrey Plaza is definitely juicy. Um, it's kind of off-putting that you give us a Child's Play movie that has Andy Barclay, his mother, Detective Norris, and all of these characters from the original movie, but no Charles Lee Ray. Like, not even in passing that there was possibly a killer in this world as Charles Lee Ray. Like, you literally remove the Charles Lee Ray character completely out of Child's Play. Hey, what's going on, Sebastian? How you doing? We are currently 11 minutes and 40 seconds into the movie. Hey, Kaiden, how you doing? Love the Crystal Lake background. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Always like looking back there, knowing Jace is doing just what his mother wanted. Great channel. Keep up the great work. Thank you. Thank you. I greatly appreciate it. And got so much more to come to. I'm working on a new Dark Theories, which most of the people that follow me on pretty much everything that I'm on know the next theory is revolving around the canonization of Freddy's Dead. I also got some other things in the works, too. Yeah, the Charles Lee Ray thing is definitely annoying on here. Like, he should have been at least a character in passing, like Andy, like, bumping into him. Like, who's that? Oh, that's Charles Lee Ray. He lives down the hallway. It would have been at least something for us to gravitate to, like, okay, in part two, let's see what Charles Lee Ray is doing. See where my mind goes with that, Ty? That strikes me to believe some not volatile things, but both of y'all be sore at the end of the night. Amen, Chuck. Amen. Do you hate Superman, JJ? No, not at all. But then again, I'm not bald, so. Or what if they actually now see this is where all of my brain cells start like really going here. What if the whole reason they could have had this could have been an alternate take on it too? If the Buddy doll, because his mind instantly goes to Chucky. So what if this Chucky doll would have actually been previously owned by Charles Lee Ray? If they would have did that, it would have made sense. And then Charles Lee Ray actually maybe had him with him on a couple of murders, and he kind of internally stored that information on killing. Like, that could have worked too. Because then you still get Charles Lee Ray, maybe not on screen, but you find out who previously owned this Chucky doll. Oh, it was Charles Lee Ray. And he was gunned down and so forth. And he was like the Lakeshore Strangler and all. Like, give him the same story, except this time instead of being possessed, he was actually influenced from what he saw, being the AI. I mean, this remake definitely has some redeeming qualities, but it also has some critical mistakes. So you just got Dead by Daylight, Sebastian. For what platform? Oh, PC platform. Nice, nice, nice. And feel free to add me on Steam if you got it. Oh no, I still wish they would have fixed the face design on them. Because did they ever say how Buddy is supposed to charge? Or does he run on the same fucking like fuel cells like a Terminator does? Because I can't remember if I've ever seen the Buddy doll like charging on here. Come on, you're a little bit bored. Hey man, it comes with age. For some. So like there, like Chucky could have saw that and could have went to maybe a stored memory file of Charles Lee Ray doing the same thing to a victim. That's why I said for some, Devin. For some. Yeah, the boyfriend character Shane is really like a stereotypical asshole. Bald people have rights too. Like it is nice to see them like how they're bonding and everything. Ooh. I mean, that's kind of off-putting too. Like you go into the room and you see the Buddy doll like choking the cat. But here you can see where their idea was going. That Chucky was so wrapped up in Andy and so obsessed with him that pretty much he didn't want anybody to hurt him in any kind of way. And by the time Andy is just pretty much done with Chucky, it's almost like a scorned girlfriend. Cute. That's a it's a bit of a false statement. What the fuck? Because you wonder if a hacker was able to get their hands on one of the dolls aside from this particular doll, would they also be able to remove the safeguards too? I mean, one would think. Especially an electronic that's like mass produced like that. Because it makes sense. And from what I remember, Robin Williams was rumored to play a lot of roles within the DC world. Brainiac definitely being one of them. Hugo Strange, I heard around the rumor mill. Introducing Chucky to Dead by Daylight. I highly doubt that we'd ever see Chucky in Dead by Daylight just because of the size stature. And because, I mean, you think logistically, now if you get a enlarged version of the Chucky doll, then maybe. But if you get like the actual scale size against the other survivors, it's absolutely not fair to the survivors because even though they would have a terror radius, you would never see Chucky coming. And then it would look absolutely ridiculous if Chucky threw you on his shoulder and carried you to a hook. Now, if they can work that out, or maybe do it that he's using some kind of voodoo spell to lift someone up and throw them onto the hook, maybe that could work. But still, the size issue and it would create an imbalance within the game. I mean, other than that, I would love Chucky in it. I mean, I get they're watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, but are they like just jumping scene to scene? How do we go from the end to the beginning? Or are they watching it multiple times? And granted, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is a funny movie, but I never laughed that hard when, I never really laughed at all when Chop Top got hit with the chainsaw in the stomach. Have I ever heard of Art the Clown? Absolutely. As a matter of fact, have they ever said when the Terrifier 2 is supposed to be coming out? As I'm saying, Devin, it would have to be where he uses some kind of like voodoo spell to levitate the down survivor and pretty much carry them all the way back to a hook. Which would be cool if you could do it, because if you can get Brad Dourif's voice to come back and voice Chucky, you can have him doing its incantation the entire time that he's carrying them to the hook. Art the Clown is going to be a new horror icon? Absolutely, yeah. He's already pretty iconic in the modern horror like community. So I think Art the Clown is part of a voodoo cult of some kind. Not sure. Like, we know Art is supernatural, but I didn't see anything in any of his appearances that would indicate that he's voodoo. Unless you've seen something I haven't. Because I know he's been in 3 movies. His first appearance I have yet to see, but I did see, I think it's All Hallows Eve that he's on, and then The Terrifier. I still wonder, don't they have to charge him at all? Does he not need charged? Like something that runs on that much like electrical power that can power fucking other vehicles and all that shit? Like what is the battery life on something like that? 20 years? Hey, Haley, how you doing? What's going on? We are currently about 31 minutes into the movie. Trying to figure out how this Buddy doll has such a long battery life. Because he hasn't been charged not one time in this fucking movie. And I don't think he's ever been charged throughout my first viewing of it. So I'm wondering, at what point does his batteries die? I believe there are some old black and white movies that have the voodoo like zombies. Wasn't it like Dementia 13 or something like that? If I remember right. I can't fully remember. But I had like a whole like classic black and white set that Night of the Living Dead was part of. And I thought that was like one of them. How would Art react to Jason's attacks? I think Art would, thank you for the follow, Show Off 133. I greatly appreciate it, and glad to see you're enjoying the stream. But I think Art would likely have a reaction to Jason eating his attacks. That's what it would likely be. If Art was to take one of Jason's attacks, I think he would likely play dead. In my opinion. Said nothing much. My mom's fiance is going to be pissed though. Why, Haley? What did you do? No, I'm just playing. Just like looking like, what did you do? Were you bad? They have nuclear batteries. That's what I was saying before, Ty, with the fucking Terminator power cells. Because aren't they nuclear powered too? And they last like 100 and something fucking years, if need be. Could you say hi, Max? I want to scare my little brother, and he's in the room. Well, hello, Max. You can't see it, and don't let the screen fool you. But I'm watching. I'm watching you. I see what you do at night. I see it. You stop it. I good enough for you, Devin? You think the Boy 2 movie any good? I mean, from what I've seen of the trailers, it seems pretty average. But I haven't watched it yet, so I can't fully judge. I hate to leave early. Well, we hate to see you go early, Sebastian. But glad you stopped by. And be sure to stop by again tomorrow for some Dead by Daylight fun. If you can, of course. I see, Haley. I see. I'll be back. I always come back. Great reference during the series, Sebastian. Oh, thank you, Chuck. Thank you. As I normally do, I try to go find a couple of good ones and pick from there. And this one caught my eye more than any of them. Think they'll make an It Chapter 3. If they do, I definitely don't want it to be a prequel. Just because with prequels like that, it kind of takes the entire everything that you would want in a movie. Like, say if you did a Friday the 13th prequel with Pamela Voorhees, you know Pamela's not going to die because you know she has to be there for the first movie. So I wouldn't want a It prequel and Pennywise be in it, because it's like at that point you know Pennywise is going to survive. I would want to go forward. And the only way I would do a chapter 3 with it is if it's written by Stephen King. I wouldn't do it any other way. I'd have it written by Stephen King and maybe turned into a script by whoever scripted or wrote the screenplay for It Chapter 1 and 2. And go from there, just to keep within the continuity. But I think definitely they should move forward, not backward. Yes, I do have a Android device. My phone is a Galaxy S10e. Ooh. I didn't notice that the first time around. Where he broke both of his legs going down like that. Holy shit. Like, honestly, I wouldn't have it be Pennywise. If anybody like read the books, they know that Pennywise laid a shit ton of eggs in his lair. And you could always have Pennywise's offspring be the next It. Like, with no connection to Pennywise at all, and having its own look, its own style, and however it wants to go. Like, it could still be It because it's It, but at the same time, it's not Pennywise. Like, we can move forward with a new variation of a character with those same abilities. Hey, what's going on, Puckster? How you doing? How's it hanging? Absolutely well. I mean, I got my balance like when I walk, so I'm good. How's it hanging with you? I do like the buddy doll with the red eyes, though. So you're playing DBD. Nice, nice, nice. I can't remember. What platform do you play on, Pugster? I know you said it before, but I can't remember what you said that you played it on. It Chapter 3, The Son of Pennywise. If I remember right, I don't think they necessarily have a gender. So there's a slasher horror novel game called Summer Trip. I've kind of been enjoying it recently, but it's kind of wanting to be... to do some... kind of wanted you to do some in-app purchases, though. That's pretty much all games now. Microtransactions and everything. Might have to check it out, though. Like, I'm good with all horror games. Like, it's hanging to the left. As it should be, I believe. I think that's how it goes. Isn't it? PS4. That's right. That's right. Think they're going to make a Pet Sematary 2 reboot movie? I doubt it. I would see it far more likely that they'd likely reboot the entire... Well, not reboot, but remake the movie again. Which is still not a good idea because it's kind of hard to really recapture that first feeling of Gage being killed. Like, another Pet Sematary is never, ever going to recapture that. So you also play DBD 2 and it's on the Switch. Yep. We got a couple of people that play on many different platforms. Which makes me really, really, really wish that we had crossplay. So that way we could all play with each other. Strictly an electronical way. For some of you. I know where some of your minds go. Like, these hands are just for... mice and keyboards. But I mean, a couple of drinks later, you never know. Did I see the Saw trailer? Yes, I did. I actually did a sort of a reaction to it. Like, I watched it prior to my reaction video and gave my thoughts on it. How about a spin-off series story time with J.G. Darhk? I mean, never know. I'm still thinking of coming on here and like doing the Dracula story. Putting that in video form. Doing the chapters. I know, Ty. I know. I'm well aware. Like, as soon as I said it, I already know. But then again, like I said, never know after a couple drinks. Another drunk stream on the horizon. Which I can't remember. Did I have a drunk stream while on camera? I know I had a couple off camera, but I can't remember if I had one on camera since I installed the camera. I can't remember if I did one on stream, Haley. I did a couple. Oh, I did a couple on stream. I don't remember if I did one on camera. Like, I know I did. I think it was like 2 or 3. And from what I remember, the drunk streams were pretty fun. I think I was like drinking wine and Grey Goose and Red Bull. It was just like fucking. It was entertaining for me, like most certainly. Might have to revisit that aspect of the streams again. You imagine drunk Dead by Daylight? Just like, fuck you in this hook. Oh, I imagine. I imagine it get really hard on the Dead by Daylight while drunk, especially depending on your drunk levels. I think I'd need an adult. Oh, I just think of like doing the trapper voice the entire time, like not even playing killer. It's like drunk trapper as a survivor. I don't get that drunk, Ty. I don't get that drunk typically where I don't remember anything. I get drunk enough to get a little bit looser lipped, but I typically remember what I say. He really does look like Jack Black. Like diabolical plans by Devin. I hope no lady sneaks up on you while drunk. Who, me or Ty? Got to think like Logan Paul for any of those big YouTubers. We got to scam people. Nah, I ain't scamming anybody. I mean, granted, they may make tons of money on that. That's good for them. I'm not about all that. Like, those are literally what you would call like camera whores to try to market themselves in any kind of fucking way possible. And it's not my bag. Nah. If I can't do something that I genuinely love, it's not worth doing it. Oh, me. I mean, it's just be like one of those things like, who the fuck are you? I get so drunk I piss my pants. That is quite hilarious. I personally have never been that drunk, so I can't relate to that. But like I could imagine if I did, people already know what I'm doing as soon as I grab a diaper. Like, look, I'm tired of washing my sheets. I plan to get drunk tonight. Strap this shit on. You keep plugging away at it, Ty. You never know. It only takes one video to really, really, really like pump up there and fucking start raking in the subs. We are a classy channel. Fuck yeah, we are. Camp Juicy for life. Although I have been drunk enough to where the room was spinning around on me and I was vomiting for a good bit. Oh, trust me, I wouldn't mind the money. But what I'd have to do to get it? Nah. Like being that level of dickish, it's not within my nature. All right, so there's his power cell, but he's still moving without it. Oh, you got to go too, Haley. Oh, sad to see it. Oh, that's the Bluetooth. Okay. I completely understand with that, Haley. But you have a good night for, I guess, whenever you do go. Have a good night, especially if you're leaving now. And hope to see you tomorrow for some DBD gameplay. If not, again, I completely understand. And I will hope to check you out in one of the future streams as well. Hopefully by next week, I may end up taking some days off next week. Just because I'll be redoing my setup once all my equipment comes. If everything comes around that time frame. So don't fear. I haven't stopped streaming. I'm just going to be setting up some brand new equipment. Ooh. Ah, man. Oh, sweet dreams as well. And you'd imagine you could probably like start swinging back and forth and take your momentum past the fucking table. Because even with him turning the temperature up there like that, there's no way it gets that hot that quickly. Ooh, on the fucking toes. Ugh. Oh, what's going on, Foxy? How you doing? Welcome back. In the... Ooh. Oh, man. Turned his dagger of darkness into splinters. Because it's not the real dagger. His dagger is like, I guess, counterfeit. So it's not steel. Oh, nice, Ty. Nice, nice, nice. Another Q&A. I did watch your last one, too. By the way. So you managed to watch the Child's Play remake yesterday. Now, how did you like it? I mean, so far, it's a decent enough movie, but not a really good Chucky movie. Like, it shouldn't have had anything to do with Child's Play. I felt like it should have been its own thing. But how did you like it? Yeah, I was meaning to, but honestly, I think around that time I got like super busy and never got a chance to. By the time I remembered to do it, it was already long since you recorded it. Mm. Ooh. Oh, that's all. That's all part of the game, Devin. Like plugging like your own like merchandise and stuff like that. That all comes part of it. Especially once I get to a certain point where I can do memberships on YouTube and everything. That's all part of it. And it's all done mostly to keep the channel funded and keep things going as much as I can. Because the more money the YouTuber makes, the more time they can spend away from their actual job to turn YouTube into an actual job. And that just means more time on screen for you guys. If I was to get to that certain point. Like, it's not necessarily like, you know, making bank and millions of dollars. It's essentially finding a new cash stream to be able to do this more as opposed to that. Oh yeah, I could definitely feel that, Ty. Like, it would be such a great thing to do because I love doing this. But I also know since I've been monetized, sure, I make some money off monetization ads, but that's not how you make money on YouTube. The ads itself isn't enough to sustain you, especially for someone just starting out. Like, where you start making the money is having those revenue opportunities coming from super chats, memberships, and fucking multiple other things like merchandise. Like, all of those things create ad revenue streams to, well, not ad revenue, but revenue streams to you as a channel in order for you to sort of replace your old job with this. If you're successful enough to do it. Did I read the fan-made script to the Halloween 3 ending? To the Rob Zombie one, Robert? Yes, I did, Foxy. It should be in the its own little playlist for Nightmare on Elm Street commentaries. So it's like crazy that Kaslin has like this much of a monopoly, if I can say that right, this much of a monopoly on like all kinds of cars, electronics, and everything. enough for a buddy doll to actually be able to control it. That seems very odd. The Halloween 1982 movie. I have not. I wasn't aware that they actually had one. Oh no, I won't forget anybody. Right now, I'm not handing out money, but like I definitely won't forget anybody. Especially all the people that's been here from the jump. Like that's can't ever forget anything like that. Batman versus Spawn. Who would win? I mean, realistically speaking, Spawn should win that encounter. But Batman has like plot armor, so it's hard to get around that. But in a first meeting, fight to the death, I would probably give it to Spawn. To a complete doll design for chillin'. I love that Joker laugh too. He had to sneak that one in there. What's my thoughts on Freddy versus Jason? Very, very cartoony, entertaining, terrible acting. As far as where it stands within continuity, absolutely terrible. Like I don't consider that Jason in any kind of connection to the Paramount Jason at all. Fleshy hole forever. Absolutely. And it's like with Chucky's faulty programming, how the hell is he able to bypass the other dolls' programming as well? Or is it just because he's so fucking powerful on the Wi-Fi that he's able to just bypass it? It's essentially like a hacker. So which answers my question from earlier. Like, if a hacker did get a hold of one of the dolls, they could do the same. Like, pretty much get rid of all the safeguards. So I think they did have a Spawn and Batman comic book crossover, if I remember correctly, Robert. RoboCop versus Terminator. I would probably go with the Terminator. The Terminator has much more fluent movement, bulletproof, and is I would probably say a much more advanced version of an android. Well, cybernetic organism, as he's often called. I don't think RoboCop's like the way he moves. At least if we're talking about the original RoboCop, the way he moves isn't anywhere near reactive enough to deal with a Terminator. You have a good night, Puckster, and hope to see you back, my friend. Especially tomorrow once we hop on DBD. Fleshy hole forever, my friend. Absolutely, Chuck. Stay boiling. Ooh. Like, was Chucky inside the head with him for that? Because that's what it kind of looked like. Why I make that Jason cosplay video? Just for shits and giggles. To be completely honest. Like the original one, I just wanted to see how it looked on camera. The second one, where I had Abby and Bella, my daughters, in it, that I just wanted to see if I could do any kind of like editing, like get a feel for editing clips together in sort of a movie kind of format. Which was moderately like good in my eye. Still very terrible. And all the other ones were just for like shits and giggles. Which horror character would I love to see in Mortal Kombat 11? Michael Myers. I think at this point Michael Myers has to be in it, or Pinhead from Hellraiser. One of those two. Yep, I remember, Robert. Why can't we have Jason again? Because likely the license that NetherRealm Studios had is likely over. So they likely wouldn't be able to add him into another game, at least until they get the say so. Godzilla versus Jason Zilla. I mean, assuming if Jason Zilla is to the scale of Godzilla with a giant fucking machete, I would kind of have to go with Jason Zilla. You never know how that atomic breath might hit him, though. It's a Friday the 13th next month. I know. I saw. Which is like, I'm hoping we get at least one of these fan films that were supposed to come out. Like Voorhees or fucking Jason Rising or something. Feels like it's been forever since they announced it and it was supposed to come out. And we haven't really seen anything since. Have I seen the new Addams Family yet? No, I have not yet. Been meaning to, but I have not yet. Spawn is the last character in Combat Pack 1. Has he actually released yet? I don't have the game, so I don't remember. Last thing I remembered that got released was Joker. So I don't remember if Spawn got released yet. I mean, I thought Vengeance was okay, Ty. I haven't seen Vengeance 2.0 yet. I've been meaning to check that out. But from what I understand, they fixed a couple of things in it. It's a nice RoboCop reference. So he'll be released next month. Okay. I mean, kinda, yeah, Devin. But I mean, Marvel and DC does that to each other all the time. Like Thanos is a ripoff of Darkseid and so forth. Deadpool is a ripoff of Deathstroke, and like I said, like it goes on and on and on. Like, what do you mean by that, Ty? Like, just because it had like C.J. Graham in it and Steve Dash, or just a lot of the characters, like where they were looking for Tommy, um, fucking Elias Voorhees was in it, and the family members of a ton of Jason victims. Oh, I'd imagine some of them had some fucked up bones like on that fall, especially her, considering her hands are tied behind her back and she hits the ground that hard. Oh, that's a tough one, Foxy. That's a real tough one. Because, I mean, Spawn has some really, really, really out there powers, and Pinhead is supposed to, like, god tier horror villain. Gladiator is a ripoff of, so yeah, pretty much down to almost like all of his powers, a complete ripoff. So you didn't mind that it retcon everything after part six, Ty? Or was that part of the whole thing from you disliking Halloween 2018 too? Like making you dislike that? Because with that, especially, you got to remember with Never Hike Alone, as even said to me by Vincente DeSanti, like, he did Never Hike Alone as a retcon to all the New Line stuff. His movie takes place, as he said to me, like, and it's on my one YouTube video that I did of where Never Hike Alone stands in the canon of Friday the 13th. He did leave a comment on there even saying how it goes right after part 8 and essentially is retconning everything from thereafter. So none of the New Line films are canon. All right, and that was Child's Play 2019. I mean, decent enough. I mean, it has its issues. Main thing that I don't like a lot of these things for is that they continuously overproduce a lot of these horror movies, and you don't get the grittiness or the low budget gold that used to be from the 80s. I think now with a lot of people, like back then when you had a, let's say, $5 to $10 million budget, and you had to stretch that across, things looked very grimy, dirty, and they had to do certain things in order to really sell their movie. Like they wouldn't be able to have a full-on animatronic or CGI or anything like that for the entire movie, like for a Child's Play. So they would hire an actor for over-the-head scenes to show Chucky like walking and moving. They even did that in, I believe, Cult and Curse of Chucky, and it still works to this day rather. But now with technology being so accessible, even the lowest of horror movies, budgeted horror movies, can now look supremely overproduced, and I really don't like that route. Like, I think they probably need to start looking at the equipment that they were using back then in the 80s and seeing if they can replicate it and keep things under budget for practical effects. Like, practical effects needs to be a constant in horror because everything's going CGI. And the more you see CGI, the more you start being able to pick it out. And it doesn't look nearly as good. What did I think of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake from 2003? I thought it was good. It was essentially what a remake should be. It took the basic concept of what the original movie was and gave us essentially a different story. So I liked it. Do I ever think they ever mention Dr. Loomis has a family in the new Halloween movies? No, I don't think you'll ever see that. Mostly because if Loomis did have a family, it was likely dissolved because of his obsession with Michael Myers. And if he didn't have a family before that, it wouldn't make sense to give him a family after that. Because his obsession was his obsession. It would have drove any kind of love interest away. So I don't think we're going to see Dr. Loomis's son anywhere. I don't think we're going to see a daughter. I don't think we're even going to see a cousin or anything like that. I think Loomis was just Loomis, and any of his surviving family members likely did not follow in his same field of study. So it wouldn't make sense to have them in Halloween. Maybe a news report asking one of his close family members how they feel about Michael's return after Michael, I think, almost definitely that I think that essentially Michael will die. At that point, you can have someone interview one of Loomis's family members, but ultimately, you don't need them playing a pivotal role because then that shrinks the entire world that they're in. So, Never Hike Alone takes place after Jason Takes Manhattan. Yes, that is why he looks the way he does. His hockey mask is different because the hockey mask that was in Jason Takes Manhattan was completely dissolved in the toxic waste. It was burned. It never got that mask back. His body essentially got spilled out. This is all according to Vincente DeSanti. His body got spilled out into I guess one of the like sewer system, like where it would spill out at in New York. And New York being close to New Jersey, Crystal Lake isn't going to be that far. The only thing I got from it is a visual of a naked Jason swimming his way back to Crystal Lake. But essentially he ended up getting new clothes, finding a new hockey mask at one of the abandoned campsites. I think it was Camp Crystal Lake. Had the hockey mask that he wears in the movie. That's why it has no chevrons or anything. It was meant to be that way. But ultimately, I could be telling it a little bit wrong. So you can check out the comment and read it on the Never Hike Alone video that I did. But that was my takeaway from it. So it happens after part 8. So everything in the Paramount films are canon. And everything is going to be especially in his upcoming Never Hike Alone movies or series that's going to come out. I'm not sure if they're full length. They're going to be like 20, 30 minutes each or anything. I heard varying stories with that. But we got the prequel to Never Hike Alone, and then we got all the sequels to Never Hike Alone. And they're going to tell their own narrative and how Jason essentially will die. And it's a cap off to the Paramount Jason. You think Jeepers Creepers 4 will start playing in the theaters again or go straight to the Sci-Fi Channel? Likely straight to the Sci-Fi Channel. I don't think we're going to see another Jeepers Creepers movie in the theaters until it gets remade. Like, personally. And it will be remade at some point. Have I ever played Marvel vs. Capcom? Many, many years ago on one of the original iterations. All right, guys. That's going to do it for me for the night. I want to thank all you guys for watching this movie with me. Even if you did not love it and you watched it, I greatly appreciate it. Everyone that liked the video, everyone that shared the video, everyone that brought new people into the video, whether you're on Mixer, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, everything. I want to thank all you guys for sticking around with me, and I will see you guys tomorrow for a Dead by Daylight stream. I think I'm still on the PTB. I think that's still a thing going on. Hopefully I can get a game as the killer this time around. But if I can't and things tend to go a little longer than I like on both sides, then I may switch back to the live servers and just worry about trying to play the Death Slinger when it officially drops. But you guys have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow. And as always, I am JG Dark, and thanks for watching.
Don't ever laugh as a hearse goes by, for you may be the next to die. They wrap you up in bloody sheets to drop you 6 feet underneath. They put you in a pine wood box and cover you up with dirt and rocks. It all goes well for about a week, and then your coffin begins to leak, and the worms crawl in, the worms crawl out, the worms play pinochle on your snout. They eat your eyes, they eat your nose as you begin to decompose. A slimy beetle with demon's eyes chews through your stomach and out your sides. Your stomach turns to rancid grease, and pus pours out like melted cheese. You spread it on a slice of bread, and that's what you'll eat when you're dead. And the worms crawl out, the worms crawl in, the worms that crawl in are lean and thin, the ones that crawl out are fat and stout. Your eyes fall in and your hair falls out, your brain turns into maggot pie, your liver starts to liquefy, and for the living all is well as you sink further into hell. And the flames rise up to drag you down into the fire where you will drown. Your skin melts off as you descend, and Satan tears you limb from limb. Your suffering will never end. And the worms crawl in, the worms crawl out, they'll eat your guts and then shit them out. And when your bones begin to rot, the worms remain, but you do not. So don't ever laugh as a hearse goes by, for someday you'll be the one to die. And when death brings his cold despair, ask yourself,